Marcus didn't speak right away. He stood there in the doorway, steam still drifting out of the bathroom behind him, water droplets clinging to his hair and shoulders. His eyes were locked on the phone in Elena's hand like it was a weapon. "Elena," he said finally, forcing a weak laugh, you're not understanding this right." She didn't move. She didn't blink. The room felt too small, like the walls were slowly pressing inward. "That's not what it looks like," he added quickly, stepping forward. "You're reading things out of context." Elena raised the phone slightly. Out of context. She looked at his face, the same face she'd kissed goodbye that morning, the same mouth that had told her he loved her just hours earlier. "Out of context," she repeated quietly. "You sent pictures. She sent pictures. You told her you missed her." Marcus shook his head, running a hand through his wet hair. No, listen. It was just texting. It was stupid. It didn't mean anything." She tilted her head. "Then why did you tell her you loved her?" That was when his expression cracked. Not guilt, not shame. Fear. He swallowed hard. "I didn't mean it like that." Elena let out a slow breath through her nose. Her voice stayed calm, but something inside her had already detached. "How long?" she asked again. Marcus opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. "A few weeks," he said. She nodded once. "After I told you I was pregnant." Silence. The absence of denial was louder than any confession. Marcus dropped to his knees. It was sudden, desperate, the kind of movement meant to shock her into compassion. "I didn't want this to happen," he said, tears spilling freely now. "I swear to you, Elena, I never wanted to hurt you." He reached for her stomach. She stepped back. His hand hovered in the air, then fell. "I was confused," he continued, words tumbling over each other. "Your mom, she was lonely. She needed someone. I was just trying to help at first." Elena laughed then, a short, broken sound that surprised even her. "You helped her by sleeping with her?" He flinched. "She understood me," he said. "She listened, and then it just happened." "More than once," Elena said, flatly. Marcus pressed his forehead to the floor. "You can't leave me," he said, voice shaking. "Please, think about the baby." That sentence landed like a slap. He looked up at her, eyes red, face blotchy. "A child needs their father. If you take my baby away from me, you'll ruin their life. You'll be a bad mother if you do that." For the first time since this nightmare began, Elena felt something sharp and hot cut through her numbness. Not sadness. Anger. She stared down at him. "You cheated on your pregnant wife with her mother," she said slowly, "and you think you get to tell me what makes a good parent?" Marcus reached for her again, grabbing her wrist this time. "I'll fix it. I'll cut her off. I swear. I'll never hurt you again." She pulled her arm free. "You already did." She turned away from him and walked into the bedroom. Elena didn't pack carefully. She grabbed clothes without folding them, threw essentials into a suitcase. Her hands moved on autopilot while her mind replayed everything she had read on that phone. The messages, the affection, the ease with which they talked about her like she was an inconvenience. Marcus followed her, crying, apologizing, swearing. She ignored him. When she zipped the suitcase closed, the sound felt final. "Elena, please, where are you going?" "Somewhere safe," she replied. She didn't tell him about the screenshots. By the time she reached the front door, Marcus was shouting, "You can't do this to me!" She paused, hand on the doorknob. "You did this to yourself." And then she left. The drive felt unreal. Streetlights blurred into long streaks of gold and white as Elena drove with both hands clenched tightly around the steering wheel. Her suitcase rattled softly in the back seat with every turn. She didn't cry. Her body hadn't caught up yet. Instead, her mind replayed one message over and over, the one that made her stomach twist the most. Her mother's words. Elena remembered sitting in the motel parking lot later, engine still running, phone glowing in the dark as she reread it again. Her mother had written about love, not lust, not confusion, love. She wrote that Marcus had helped her survive her grief after losing her husband, that he made her feel wanted again, that he reminded her she wasn't invisible or old or forgotten. She said keeping the secret was hard, but worth it. She said she loved her daughter, but that eventually Elena would have to accept that love doesn't follow rules, that hearts choose who they choose. She said she never thought anyone would desire her again, and Marcus had made her feel beautiful. And at the end, she wrote something that made Elena feel physically ill. Let's keep enjoying what we have. Let's cherish each other. Elena turned off the engine and leaned forward, forehead resting against the steering wheel. Her mother hadn't just betrayed her, she had justified it. The motel room smelled like stale air and industrial cleaner. Elena locked the door behind her and sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the patterned carpet. The silence was deafening. That was when her phone started vibrating again. Marcus. She turned it face down. Then she scrolled through her contacts and stopped on one name, Rachel. Her cousin answered on the second ring. "Elena," Rachel said, immediately alert. "What's wrong?" Elena opened her mouth, and finally, the dam broke. She didn't give details. She didn't have to. She just said, "Can I stay with you for a few days?" There was no hesitation. "Of course," Rachel said. "Come whenever you're ready." Elena closed her eyes. For the first time that night, she felt something like relief. It was from the motel room that Elena finally confronted her mother. She didn't call. She typed. Her fingers shook as she told her she knew everything, that she was pregnant, that what they had done was unforgivable. And then she added one more line. "You will not be part of my child's life." The response came hours later. Elena sat on the bed, phone in her hands, heart pounding as the message loaded. Her mother started with an apology. She said she was sorry for the pain she caused, that it was never meant to spiral this far. Then the tone shifted. She said she loved Elena deeply, but that Elena was being unfair, that she was exaggerating, and that she was punishing out of anger. She accused Elena of cruelty. She said it was heartless to take away her right to see her grandchild. She warned her that she would regret this decision for the rest of her life. She reminded Elena, repeatedly, that she was her mother. Then came the justification. She said she had already ended things with Marcus, that it was over now, that they weren't speaking anymore. And finally, the manipulation sharpened. She said no child could grow up healthy without a father or a grandmother. She begged Elena to move past it, to stop being dramatic, to think about the family. She ended the message with, "Please call me. I love you." Elena stared at the screen, her hands completely still. That was the moment she understood something important. Her mother wasn't sorry. She was angry she'd been exposed. Elena didn't respond. She packed up the next morning and drove to Rachel's house with the sun rising behind her. Her life had split into before and after. Before, she trusted without question. After, she understood exactly how deep betrayal could cut. And as she pulled into her cousin's driveway, one thought echoed louder than all the others. This wasn't over. Not even close. Next episode, a mother's love is conditional. The fallout spreads, the town begins to whisper, and Elena learns just how far her mother is willing to go to avoid losing control.